Hello, welcome to a new video. I'm taking the Honda Trail 125 for a ride in a different area of town this time. I'm actually going down Louisville Avenue. I guess in kind of the southwest end of town. There's some parts of town I struggle to kind of easily box it into what part of town it fits in. I guess this would be like the general U of L Churchill Downs area, and it's very close to the airport, so it's over by the airport. Because over to the left you can see UPS buildings. It's a lot of industrial stuff through here and some homes. It's been rather cold. So Louisville, we had the most snow in a 24-hour period that we had since 1998, back at the beginning of January. And then we had some ice, and then some additional snow later on. So there was a lot of snow and ice. There's no sign here, but this looks like it should be a stop sign. We had all that snow, so I haven't had a chance to ride this bike in quite a while. Just wanted to go take it for a ride, so it's not sitting for, forever, for over a month without being touched. But then we had a number of days where the high temperature would be, in the teens. And then at nighttime it would be like around 1 degree, 0 degrees, somewhere around there. So I haven't really ridden this bike much since the end of December. And then all the snow has melted away. We've had temps that are warmer, so not hot, but in the 40s, and there's a few days it was in the mid-60s in the middle of, the day in the sunlight. Today it's closer to 50. So not... That car was flying. So, nothing that's a heat wave, just a lot warmer than it had been. So this is the first ride that I'm taking on the Trail 125 in a while. And I thought about trying to go somewhere to go off-road, but all the snow had melted. The ground has, thawed out, so it's no longer frozen and kind of hard. And we had a lot of rain recently. So a lot of spots are still kind of muddy. These bikes are made to do stuff like that. It's just I'm not super aware of anywhere I can go and just haphazardly tear the terrain up with nobody caring. So sticking to the roads today. Like I said, this is a different kind of area to a lot of the areas I ride in. Like I said, it's kind of the south end, I guess, southwest. It just kind of depends on how you define everything, but it's close to the airport and the University of Louisville and Churchill Downs. There's trains and stuff through here. And, I'm sure at this point in the editing I've already cut to the rear-facing camera angle a couple times. So I do have two cameras going. On the chest mount I have an Insta360 Ace Pro, the original one that launched in 2023. And then on the back I have an Insta360 Go 3 to get a rear-facing camera angle. And like I said, today it's in the mid to upper 40s, which in the sunlight, in my opinion, is fine to go on a ride. I just wear a little bit better insulating jacket I have, and then the cold weather gloves that keep your hands from getting too cold. Because, some people are like, oh, don't be a wuss. But I think the main thing is if your fingers get too cold, then it's hard to operate stuff with any level of accuracy. So That's why it's important to keep your hands warm enough that they function, especially on a motorcycle. Not that this one has a clutch, but, you know, to operate the brakes, signals, all that. Yeah, so the area that I started out at goes by the side of some UPS buildings. And you know, there's some industrial stuff down through there and some businesses. And I am not 100% on where all this goes, so it'll just be a journey. Because there are some areas of town that when I was younger I would have gone through more often, but it's been a while, so I don't always remember where everything is. And this is, was it Kenwood Drive? Where there used to be the Kenwood Drive-In, the drive-in theater. Yeah, so over on the left is was the marquee. Hopefully it got picked up in one of the 2 camera angles of the old Kenwood Drive-In Theater. It's kind of the last local one I can remember being relatively close. It closed years and years ago. I think I went there in college to see a movie, which unfortunately was not just a couple years ago. Now it's, you know, quite a while, but it's been closed for a while. Because I haven't actually been to a drive-in theater in quite a while. I mean, part of it is there aren't many of them locally that are open. All of them are, you know, a good drive to get there. I think there's one in Indiana, and there's maybe one a few hours away in Kentucky, so none of them are close, is the point. Now I'm on South Side Drive. So with drive-ins, you know, it's one of those things. It's a thing that if you were growing up in the era when they still existed and went to them, you know, you can feel some level of nostalgia for it. I don't know that it's always the best experience for a movie that you want to see with the best possible audio and video quality, the best projection and audio sound system. Because they would oftentimes, back in the day, they had the little speaker box that you could pick up and put in your car, just listen to, that wasn't, you know, very impressive, or you could tune the radio in your car to like a station that they were broadcasting just there at the theater, or you could bring, you know, a battery-powered boombox or something to do that instead of running your car the entire time. So I'd wanted to go to a drive-in to see stuff, because I know there were some different events around Halloween that seemed fun. Just didn't have the time to drive out to the various ones that are, you know, in a different state, or, you know, more than an hour round trip drive on a Saturday evening. But it's one of those things where, you know, depending on how nice their projection setup is, it could be pretty subpar, at least on the video quality side. But to make up for it, I do have a small little Sony projector that I'll set up in the backyard. I have a little speaker that I plug into it for audio. I invited some friends over back in October around Halloween, and it was actually pretty cold. So then we watched the movie The Thing, the 1982, I believe, John Carpenter version. So it being cold out added to the aesthetic, since that movie's all set, you know, in super cold temperatures. But so now I'm going on Palatka Road. It's going along the backside of Airquay Park. So I will just continue riding along here. You know, because I do these rides, you know, a lot of times there's some rides that I obviously don't record video of. I can just go and do whatever I want. But when I'm going to go and record a ride, I have to put some thought into where I'm going to go and record, and try to make sure that I'm not just going to the exact same spots every single time, because that can get pretty boring. And there's some areas of town that, you know, I've gone through in videos, but I haven't gone through all the neighborhoods. And that's mostly because it wouldn't be very entertaining, really, because, you know, going through suburbia and a bunch of neighborhoods and subdivisions, it wouldn't be all that exciting. There'd be a ton of stop signs, so it wouldn't be really all that engaging or show anything all that terribly interesting. Yeah, so this was going, now it's getting closer to the Dixie Highway area. Because it's just on the other side of all the hills up ahead. So I'm turning on to Man Slick Road. I think I'll be approaching where Doss High School is located here in a minute. But I am very much looking forward to the weather improving, so I can take this bike back through some back roads and off-road and take it on a little bit further ride than this. My brother has a bike as well that that we had talked about going for a ride together. He lives in a different county than I do, so, you know, not super far, a 30-minute drive by car. The problem is that this bike can't go on the highway, so instead of being a 30-minute ride, it's more like an hour ride just to get where he's at. And he has the Honda, I think it's the XR150L, so like the kind of dual sport dirt bike version. So it's a little bit faster than this one, standard, you know, gear shifter and transmission. But that one you're not really supposed to go on the highway either. So we just have to we both had to take side streets and meet in the middle. Or he can load his bike up on the truck and bring it out towards me. You know, he has a son that's, you know, still less than 2 years old, so not as much free time. So I think what I'll do here before the end of this video is I will turn over here onto, was it St. Anthony Church Road? Also known as Hot Rod Haven. So this is the road that is also known as Hot Rod Haven. There's another road in Louisville that's also referred to as Hot Rod Haven. It's not super far from here. It's an area I've gone through before in a different video on this bike. So I think in the video where I went to Fairdale, the Fairdale neighborhood, I went through Mitchell Hill Road, which is the other road known as Hot Rod Haven. They both share some similarities. They both have a very steep road with a cemetery at the top, and then kind of winding roads that go through the woods. They're both ones where people would race through years ago. So I'll go through here real quick and then wrap the video up. It's a pretty steep road. And this was full throttle. I had to downshift it to third. Let's see, I'll go up here real quick to this little cemetery. They're doing enough, you know, here. I'm not gonna get up in the way. Let's see, I'll just go over here real quick and turn back around. There is an interesting view. So, maybe in the video I'll crop in. So up ahead, down the hill, you could eventually see Dixie Highway and down to the Ohio River. All the way completely off in the distance. But you can see down out over some of the neighborhoods. It's an interesting view. Alright, so I'll just go to the end of this road real quick and then wrap this video up. Yeah, but the Trail 125 is great for these kind of leisurely little exploring around town type rides. Granted, you don't have to go on the highway or any roads that have a speed limit 55 or higher, because you can do 55, but as you saw in this video when I was going up the hill, it was not able to do that. So on flat ground or going, you know, downhill, yeah, you can do 55, but going uphill or into a very strong wind, you may not be able to. And you're not getting up to it immediately either. So that's why I say you don't want to go on roads that have too high a top speed. Now, you know, I've heard stories from family members and family friends and people about how they used to take motorcycles and their cars through here and hot rod them and go pretty fast. Now, the last time I came through here, the road was in terrible, terrible shape with potholes everywhere. I didn't even really want to take the motorcycle through because it was so crappy. It looks like they've repaved it, so it's actually pretty smooth now. So if you'd been contemplating coming through this area for some reason on a motorcycle, green light, you can go ahead and do it because the road's been repaved and it's in decent shape compared to a handful of years where it was not. Decidedly not. But I could see, you know, based on the layout of this road, how people would speed through here and hot rod their stuff. Especially back in, you know, the 1970s, 80s. It's also somewhere that there's not a lot of room for error. So if you were to crash in different sections, you'd just be going down the side of a hill or going down a big ditch. So not a lot of room for error. Okay, so I think that's the main section of that. So this was taking the Honda Trail 125 out for a ride. I started on Louisville Avenue, over kind of by UPS and the airport and everything. Went through some kind of areas, Kenwood Drive, some areas in kind of South Louisville. Went down Newcut Road, went to St. Anthony Church Road, Hot Rod Haven. And yeah, that's it till next time.